Welcome to Kaleidoscope S4IG. Let's talk. He is just 15 and made history last week. He is the first Sri Lankan to win a medal at a World Karting Championship. Yevan David now becomes the world's number 2, having competed with 29 races representing 29 countries at the FIA Motorsports Games with not just a silver medal but also a podium finish. Yevan, who lives in Singapore, has been on the track since he was 6. Nevertheless, he has always represented Sri Lanka, recording victories on the European circuit. Yevan joins me on S4IG Let's Talk today from France, just after he finished that very memorable race. Congratulations, Yevan, and what a feat! What did it feel like carrying that Sri Lankan flag on the podium and knowing that you're the first Sri Lankan to win a medal at a World Karting Championship?
Well, for the past 2 years, I've been representing the Sri Lankan flag in Europe, and it's been a long journey, and especially this year, it's been very up and down. I've come close a couple of times to getting the Sri Lankan flag on the podium, and it hasn't worked out on various occasions. And coming into this weekend, everyone knew it was my final weekend of the year, final race of the year in Europe. And one guy said to me that he'd love to see the Sri Lankan flag on the podium. And I just felt like this motivation and this determination to finally try and get that Sri Lankan flag on the podium. And how it all worked out in the end was just such a good feeling of relief and satisfaction.
So you mentioned that it has been a difficult year. What has been challenging through the year?
A lot of bad luck in terms of mechanical failures during the year, where I could have been in contention to have a good race, or even, for example, the World Championship in Italy, which was a month ago. We were looking pretty fast and stuff, and then out of nowhere, my tire blew up. So unfortunate things like this has happened throughout the year, but in the end, it all paid off because it was this race that counted, and it was the last race of the year, and it finally worked out.
And what has been the most challenging for you in your career when you look at the overall picture?
When you have a bad race or something goes wrong, it can be really difficult to bounce back and get the right confidence, mainly again, to go back at it and try and do your best. So you just have to gather all that anger and frustration and turn it into a positive energy that you can use on the track. So one of the biggest challenges for sure is never giving up.
And what has been your most challenging race?
In terms of challenging aspects during races, was probably one race in 2016 where I had a high fever and it was not looking good for me to race. And then it started raining for the race as well. But then, I don't know, I was a 9-year-old kid, but I was able to put my mind to it, drive in the wet conditions with the high fever and finish third in the race. So that one was probably one of the most memorable and most challenging. One because of the fever and because of the wet weather conditions.
So Yevan, you've been doing all this while in Singapore. How do you think this would have panned out if you were in Sri Lanka instead?
I think it would have panned out very differently. I can't imagine how it would be. But the reason is because in Singapore, when I started racing in 2015, there was quite a big championship in terms of Asia terms. So it was quite a big championship in Asia at the time. And that kind of elevated me to go into Europe races, which is where I am now. But I think if I started in Sri Lanka without those championships, it would have taken more time and it would have been more difficult to get there. And I think at one point I would have still made it to this stage. It just would have taken a bit more time.
So would you make motorsports your career?
Yes, I think I've come this far now. I've been racing for 8 years now since I was 7 years old. So I'd say this is what I want to do, and this is one of the things I wanted to do since I was six years old. So I don't see any reason why I would not keep going, because I would really do anything I can to get to Formula One, and I'm just really happy to do what I love. I'm glad I have this opportunity.
So good luck, Yevan, and may your dreams of continuing on this circuit become reality. Our partners are the best. Here's a big thank you to Skills for Inclusive Growth and Australian Aid, Srilanka Live, CDB and the Morning Newspaper. And if you like Kaleidoscope, subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn.